Nicole for her 19 years of unwavering dedication and commitment to this amazing school. It is wonderful to see so many of you all here today, from current families to former families. We are all Pinecrest families forever. We all are just very excited to be here, and we just can't thank you enough for being here to support. We're also very happy to have Darren, our next head of school, and his wife Julie here to join us today. A lot of people want this mic, so I'm going to be brief, but I just want to say something to Nicole. I've had the pleasure of getting to know you for the past 3 years. That is the time that our family has been here. We came to Pinecrest because of COVID. We stayed at Pinecrest because of Pinecrest, largely in part to you. You were the first face that we saw. Funny seeing so many of you here today. I've only seen you on Zoom. Nicole was our friendly face on Zoom, and we knew we were in love just from the very moment that we talked to you. And our son is thriving here, and we are just incredibly grateful to be part of such a wonderful community. You know how much our family is really going to miss you. Thank you all for the volunteers, all the parents who came together to put together this amazing event. I love seeing so much pink in this crowd and all the balloons. It's just truly, truly wonderful. So with that, I'd like to hand it over to one of our longtime parents, Nick Wakeman.
All right, wow, a great crowd. This doesn't say this is community, nothing else does. I do want, we had a special guest who could not stay, Penny Gross, who's the outgoing Board of Supervisors member, stopped by with a declaration from Mason District from Nicole McDermott on the occasion of her retirement, celebrating 18 years of dedicated service as head of school at Pinecrest School, advocating for students, guiding staff, and enriching the lives of countless individuals and families. So that was really nice. We're going to put that nice. Just so you guys know, who doesn't know me, I'm Nick Wakeman, and I've been a parent at Pinecrest for 10 years and a board member for 9, and I'm a past chair of the board. Serving on the board gave me a front row seat in how extraordinary Nicole McDermott is. She has so many great talents of leadership, passion, imagination, intelligence. Nicole and I developed a really great friendship over the years. So I've really struggled trying to figure out what I wanted to say and talk about. When you work closely with somebody, so many of the stories are kind of location based. It's kind of like you had to be there to kind of get it. Like when we were tearing down the old building, the building committee, myself, Nicole, Jamie Curry, and Summer Cross, we walked around the empty building right before it's going to be torn down. And I don't know, somebody brought a hammer, we found a hammer, we decided, let's smash some windows. And it's hard to understand just like all the effort it took to get to that point, why that felt so good, it was so meaningful at the time. But I really want to pay tribute to Nicole, of course. And one thing I thought about was gratitude. I'm very grateful for the school that she developed and grew over nearly 2 decades. The education my 2 sons have received has been second to none. They learned to love school. They learned to love learning here, to be good people here, to be caring people. Pinecrest is a foundation that will support them, hold them up for their entire lives. And Nicole did that. Through the teachers she hired, the examples she set, the programs she developed, and the risks that she took during her time here. No parent could ask for anything more. So thank you so much, Nicole. So that's my parent gratitude part. My board member gratitude also is just huge. When I was board chair and we were building this building, it was a project that seemed snake bit times. We had to fire our first contractor, and then the company that was building the modules that we put together, it was a modular build. They went bankrupt and shut down. And then there were county requirements that needed to be met. I think it seemed like one thing after the other. And I think, the board, I think Nicole, I know we had many near panic moments. I know I did, especially. Yeah. But Nicole was really that steady force through the whole thing. You know, building this lower school was an investment in the future of Pinecrest. And Nicole really had that vision for that. But what was remarkable during that time is that she was also focused on the here and now. During construction, we had 4 kitchen sites, and she held us together through all that. So I'm, just so grateful for how you led us through the building of this building. The day of the ribbon cutting, I stood right here and cried off and on as I talked about it. I'm trying not to cry today. Yeah. If I do cry, though, you can laugh at me. Because I know my son, James, well. But the day of the ribbon cutting is just such a happy day. And you got us, Nicole. So I'm very, very grateful. As the chair of a board, you have a different relationship with the head maybe than any other member of the board. At a school this size, you need to have a really high level of trust between the chair and the head. It just really won't work otherwise. So I'm very grateful that happened with us. And I'm excited that she had this rule about social media, but I'm really excited that later this summer, when you're not head of school or not acting head of school, that we can be friends on Facebook. I should take them with me wherever I go. Personally, I'm also very grateful for what I learned from Nicole. Even before I ever really had a conversation with her that first year when James was in kindergarten, I would watch her during pickup and drop off and watch how she interacted with kids and staff and the parents. And then I would read her emails and the messages she was sending. It was a tremendous lesson on leadership through those interactions. No matter how brief, it really set the tone for the school that she cared, that we care for each other, that we are a community. And that became so important during COVID. There are other things I learned from Nicole by watching her example that I try to apply in my own life. One of those is forgiveness. Any organization will have personnel problems from time to time or conflicts with customers, i.e. parents, and its chair, especially at a school like this, the chair is there to support the head as a sounding board, a witness, sometimes making that hard phone call or email. But what I saw during those incidents is that Nicole never gave up on it. She worked with people, she mentored them, she was patient, she was a leader. She just didn't give up, and it paid off so often with how people came through here. And it's a remarkable thing to see. I'm not going to name any name, but I can look out here and I'm sure there's 1 or 2 people out here that she did not give up on. So Nicole, I'm really grateful for Nicole, I'm really grateful for what you've done here at Pinecrest. Grateful to be on the board and to have been able to support you in any way I could. But mostly, I'm really grateful that you're a friend. So thank you. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Steve. I was looking at Steve.
So I'm not Steve, I'm Susan Pinecrest. I am also a former board member and former chair of the board, so I'm in the same club as Nick and Steve. I am the historian here. Since I have known Nicole for 19 years, since she first came to the school as a 3rd grade teacher in my son's class. Nicole's personality and her vision of community started with that first class. We went in and all of the desks were in a circle, and her communication with the parents was always wonderful. We knew what was going on and you could tell how much she cared for the kids. I chaired the search committee for the head of school when Nicole was hired. So I jokingly like to say that I take full credit for everything that Nicole has done, but really it is all Nicole. When she was hired as the head of school at that time, this building was an old, leaky building. That was not particularly attractive inside. And we sometimes, and I don't think Nicole liked this when we did this, is that we considered it a test. So if you, are you? If you didn't mind the ugly building, then we knew that you were good enough for Pinecrest and we would take you. Yes, yes. So after she became head, the school was not accredited then, and Nicole led us through an accreditation process as well as several reaccreditations. And always the accrediting committee has wonderful things to say about Nicole and the school and the environment. Activities as well as K-Kids, which all of our kids have enjoyed. In addition to her accomplishments, there have been adversities too. And Nick discussed one of the major ones, which was the building of the building and the problems that we went through, and that was a very prime time. But also leading the school through the pandemic and through the crisis that was COVID. Was also a huge burden, and she did a wonderful job leading the school through that. For my family, Nicole has meant so much. She cared about children, their education, also them as people, and helping them to become the best that they could be. My daughter has type 1 diabetes, and Nicole cared for her diabetes while Ellie was in school. And I dare you to go find another school where the head of school will do that for your child. In addition to what she has done for my family and my children and their education, she has meant so much to me as a friend, and hopefully will continue for 19 more years at least to be my friend. Nicole likes to use the word quality a lot, and Nicole is quality. So I thought I would end with that. Thank you.
Afternoon, everyone. Donahoe, the Pinecrest parent for the past 9 years, member for the past 7 years, board chair for the past 2 years. During this time, I've had the honor of working closely with Ms. McDermott, the parent and a board member. In the entranceway of both our buildings, we have a sign that says "We Can Do Hard Things." It's a reminder to our students and for everyone who enters buildings that even the most daunting challenge can be faced with resiliency, resourcefulness, and creativity. In many ways, "We can do hard things" has been the mantra of Nicole's tenure at Pinecrest. During her time as our head of school, McDermott has done many hard things. She led Pinecrest through an era of success and achievement that has advanced our school's educational programs, strengthened our community. Under her leadership, among countless other successes, Pinecrest opened our lower school building in 2017, and successfully navigated the global pandemic. For the last 18 years, Ms. McDermott was instrumental in getting Pinecrest accredited for the first time in 2008, ensuring the school was successful in reaccreditations, overseeing the expansion of our award-winning summer camp, expanding the school to 6th grade in 2009, introducing aftercare for preschoolers and support care for all students, bringing mindfulness to Pinecrest in 2014. Despite all of her accomplishments, which are too many to even scratch the surface up here, the thing I respect the most about Ms. McDermott is not her ability to do hard things, but how she does it. No matter the challenge, Ms. McDermott approaches it with courage, integrity, and open heart and mind. It's especially true of her leadership during the COVID-19 pandemic, when the world was filled with uncertainty, stress, and fear. Even though I know she felt many of those same feelings, Ms. McDermott was a strong and steady leader, exercising wise judgment, transparency, and standing behind our core principles and showing grace for those who do not always agree with our decisions. During these moments and her entire tenure as head of school, Ms. McDermott embodied the values and culture that are at the heart of Pinecrest. She consistently lifts up our community and nurtures relationships. She's empathetic, dedicated, and forward-thinking, and we are better off for long term. When Ms. McDermott told me in September that this would be her last year at Pinecrest, she told me it was important to her that we remember that Pinecrest is a community, more than just one person. While this is true, it is also important to honor and celebrate individual contributions. In this community, we're happy to be doing that just with you today. We are a stronger and more successful community because of Ms. McDermott's contributions. We are incredibly grateful for all she has done. For that reason, we celebrate Ms. McDermott today and express our thanks and admiration to a visionary leader, a committed educator, and an exceptional leader. We realize that leaving Pinecrest is yet another hard thing for Ms. McDermott, and it takes courage to leave a safe haven of a community she has led for the past 18 years. Ms. McDermott, you will always have a home at Pinecrest. To remind you of us, as we approach all the hard things that lie ahead, we would like to express our gratitude and appreciation. If you're going to do the same, we can do hard things sign that hangs in our building. It's been signed by all of our current students and staff in the back. Thank you again for truly amazing run these last 18 years. We wish you all the best in the next chapter of life. We are proud to be a part of your story. We're excited to see where the future is. Thank you. You could share that.
Hi, everybody. I want to take your picture because I don't. Okay, so it was kind of funny about me speaking here because I kind of did assume that I would, and it wasn't really. It was Nick was just like, "Well, and you'll speak," and I was like, "Well, yeah." And then that made sense. Can we move this? And so then, of course, I had to write a speech because I don't wing things. So 3 weeks ago, I said to myself, you have to write this speech. You have to get the speech written. And I had some themes of what I wanted to say. And then on Sunday, I said, tomorrow, you have to get the speech written. Monday now. You have to get the speech written. Well, the speech was finished last night. But it really does. And then I tweaked it. I spent a lot of time today tweaking. So the first thing I want to say is just it is unreal to me how many people are here. When I heard how many people are at SVP, I felt totally overwhelmed, and I thought, oh my gosh, am I even going to be able to talk to everybody who's here? So I just want to thank you so much that you prioritize being here. It obviously meant something to you to be here, and it means everything to me that you are. So thank you so much for that. I want to thank Manisha and Nick and Susan and Steve D and Steve R and Amy who did all the work for this event. They didn't let me do anything. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't get the emails you got. I didn't get anything. So everything that happened here is because of their hard work. So I want to say thank you so much for that. And then of course I want to thank Nick and Susan and Steve and April for their very gracious and kind words. So thank you so much. And also I want to say to our kindergarten crew in the front, I don't think I'm going to make you laugh as much as they did. I do have one joke that's really funny to me, but I don't think it's going to be funny. If I had known it, I would have told you in advance what it was, and then you could have really laughed. All right, so these are my remarks. I was lucky enough to have 2 pink offices at Pinecrest, and also share a tiny office for 1 year and 2 days. Never forget when we were building the lower school building. Maybe it is funnier. Maybe it is funnier. Okay. In my pink offices, a lot of things happened for Pinecrest and at Pinecrest. I heard confidence. Sometimes I was the only one to know if somebody was sick, experiencing a challenge, getting ready to move. preparing to welcome a new baby, or going through some other major life event. It was never lost on me the level of trust these conversations required. I tried to practice empathy. I showed up. I received complaints, ideas, compliments. I brainstormed, asked questions, worked things out, took mindful breaths. As Brene would say, I rumbled. I listened. I cried. I handed tissues to others who cried. I overthought. It might have been you. Might have been you. I wrote, I edited, I got calls notifying me about two friends who were very sick, beloved people in my Kiwanis family. It happened once in each office. I tried to choose courage and make decisions that were the right ones for our school and our students. I vented, I heard others vent, I validated feelings, I worried, I planned, I laughed, I redirected, I lectured. As a first grader once said, Ms. McDermott handles it really well when she's angry. Her voice goes up and people listen. That first grader is standing right in front of me. He's about to be a freshman in high school, right? Yeah. He's pretty big for a first grader now. I smiled, I learned, I did hard things. I offered suggestions, I intended. I felt like sometimes I was solving riddles. I watched the concession speech of the first major female presidential candidate. I met and interviewed strangers, most of whom would go on to change Pinecrest for the better in countless ways, many of whom are here today. I was gracious as people told me they were retiring or moving or leaving for another reason. And then one day in September, I was the one in my office announcing that I was leaving, and I was trusting others to keep it in confidence. Someday is today. When we talked with the upper building students in the fall about this being my last year at Pinecrest, I had to think about how best to explain to them what 18 years meant. On that day, in a circle, on the floor in the multipurpose room, we talked about somebody being born, and then being a baby, and then being a preschooler, and then being in elementary school, all of Pinecrest, and then being in middle school for 2 years, and then graduating from high school after 4 years. And that is the entire length of time that I have been head of school. It is a very long time. For the adults, I have some other context around that. 18 years ago, I was called by Susan on a landline to be offered this job. See, good, now you're taking over the laughing, that's good. I didn't have any gray hair then. I did not have to pull my glasses down to see my phone like I do now. I've had body. I won't tell you the details. I had never had a colonoscopy or a mammogram. I didn't know who Brene Brown was. I turned 30 here, and then I turned 40. I didn't have an iPhone until at school and another one at home at the beginning. I did not have to make footwear choices based on arch support, and I had never once run or jogged in my life. Pre-pandemic, Pinecrest made me, well, I still call myself an emergent runner. That is thanks to Pinecrest pre-pandemic. My life moved forward as I helped Pinecrest move forward. And with this, my family and friends, my chosen family, were here for me and for Pinecrest in equal measure. They made Excel spreadsheets, calculated percentages before I found the app to help me with them. They listened to everything. My CPA best friend, she never refers to herself like that, but I like to tell everybody that she's a CPA. She is. Helps the board with accounting matters. And to the point of listening to everything, she probably knows as much about Pinecrest as I do. For sure, she knows more about Pinecrest than most of you do. And pretty soon, Kay will have a lot more space in our conversations when we talk every day. My friends power washed the building. They taught me both the term and the actual location for the point of entry of our Verizon phone service. I love insider term. They collected box tops. They now use the app. They saved can tabs and bottle caps when K-Kids collected those. They gave us scrap paper, office supplies when their companies changed logos. Shout out to World Travel. And other random items that they thought we might use. We usually did. The mom of one friend sometimes has bags of candy for our teachers, and the dad of another friend is helping us next week at field day. My friends have advised us on financial matters, consulted on HR needs, designed logos, worked at camp, and yesterday one installed a new doorbell on the lower building. They brought us the idea for heads and tails after seeing it at another school. They help us at Celebrate Pinecrest, sometimes hiring a babysitter or making a flight, booking a flight to do so. They share things with me and they say, I thought of you in Pinecrest. They wanted car magnets, t-shirts, and sweatshirts. Their kids have Pinecrest shirts. A lot of their kids have come to camp. They donated to the annual funds and the capital campaign. And as we say, hashtag important, they like all of our social media posts. They delight in cute and sweet kid stories that delight me, and they make me laugh, especially valuable during the trying times, and there have been plenty here. They know Pinecrest through my eyes, and they remember it all. Sometimes they will remind me about things that have happened that I don't have top of mind anymore. And when they heard about Mr. Holgate, they said, we can't wait to meet him. A few years ago on vacation, my closest friends created their own organization called FOPS, Friends of Pinecrest School. We were on a beach vacation, beautiful beach house, and they had convened their first meeting. And the first meeting agenda was, how could Pinecrest help increase its fundraising revenue? They have convened annually since, and this summer they're allowing me to join too. I don't know how I can ever properly acknowledge my friends for the ways that their love, support, and encouragement have made a difference to me and made a difference to our school. My gratitude is deep in my heart. There is so much grace in my life for me to be surrounded by so many amazing and giving people. Most of them are here in the back today, so I want to say thank you. And my family is not here today. That was my choice, not theirs. And they have also done tons of these same things too. They love Pinecrest because I love Pinecrest, and Pinecrest is a priority for them because it's a priority for me. I am very lucky that way. My family is in the process of working with the school to make a donation to honor my time as head, and we look forward to bringing that to fruition. I want to acknowledge my mom, my dad, my aunts, my Uncle Albert, and all of my family for their deep love, support, and enthusiasm for everything I do. Hardest part about writing this speech was this next section, which I kind of think of as the acknowledgement section. This is my joke that I think is very funny. They'll just read it. I didn't want to be Tom Brady when he retired from Tampa Bay. If you know, you know. And also, I felt so overwhelmed because there's so many people who have made an impression on me over the years and on our school. And I can do hard things. So I first want to say, I deeply appreciate the confidence and trust of the 18 boards of directors for whom and with whom I've worked. I worked closely with 7 board chairs during my time as head, and I learned something each from every one of them. I'd like to give special thanks to the 3 that spoke today, Steve Donahoe, Nick Wakeman, and Susan Akers. These individuals encouraged me and championed me and Pinecrest at every turn. They have been integral to all the things that they talked about that I did. They have been integral to all of those things. I have been so fortunate that they've been cheering me on, and Pinecrest is so fortunate to have their attention, time, and support. Serving as head of school can sometimes be isolating, and it is the board chair who has one of the closest, most inside views to the job. The way they have showed up for me has sustained me and the school. Just the other day, Nick checked in with me as he regularly does. He's done for years, and he wanted to know if I was doing okay, and he wanted to let me know he was thinking of me. It has always meant so much. I also want to acknowledge some other impactful people I worked closely with on the board over the years. People like Katrina Hush, Steve Rumness, Manisha Bhaskar, Jamie Curry, Summer Cross, Melissa Holder Murray, Amy Madonos, Elizabeth Crowder, Melanie McNulty, Artie Skinner, and Brian Becker. Their service to the board made a difference, as did their genuine embrace of me and always understanding and encouraging the leader I was trying to be for our school. I feel awe when I think about the Pinecrest community members in 2005 who selected me to become the next head of school. They saw something in me then, and they changed my life and the trajectory of our school. I will always be grateful. Well, she already told you this, but I was going to tell you that what some people don't know is that Susan Akers, before she was the board chair, was the chair of the search committee. She is the only person, I think she told you this too, but she is the only person who has been with me for every single part of my Pinecrest experience. Her son was in my 3rd grade class, and Susan remained on the board until last month, when she officially stepped off, in total serving 21 years on the Pinecrest board. She is a role model to me and a role model to her peers on the board. Susan brought historical perspective, she told you that too, a high degree of reasonableness, calm thinking, and she used the Esquire after her name only when it was in the best interest of our school and to help us found. She's probably the person I spent the most time on the phone with in my pink offices, especially at the beginning. She says that she likes to take credit for all I have done at Pinecrest, and I am good with that. I don't think we would be having this celebration if it were not for her. So Susan, we actually have something for you. Please join me here so the school can mark your 21. How do I honor and say thank you to the 18 teams of dedicated faculty and staff who brought our mission to life every single day? I've often used a train as an image to illustrate my relationship with the staff. I don't think I've ever told them this, so it's probably new information, but always when I talk about it to other people, I always talk about a train. It was always important to me that everybody was on the train. Some people were comfortably in their seats. Other people were sitting down, but maybe not quite buckled in. I actually don't know if trains have seatbelts, but you get the idea. Some did not want to sit down at all. They were like standing in the back. Other people couldn't be still wandering around. And then we had a few always that were kind of hanging on the back with their, white knuckling and the wind in their hair. But they were on the train. And I always kind of thought it was my job to get everybody seated, facing in the same direction and moving forward together, even if it didn't always look the same or take as long or as short as I kind of wished it would. I'm very proud of the significant and heartfelt work that we did, and most of the time with such strong collaboration, good humor, and mutual trust. I want to recognize in particular this year's faculty and staff and admin team. I know you did not expect this year to unfold as it has. And I think it says so much about you and Pinecrest that we have you all returning for next school year. And I want to give you a big round of applause. I also want to say a special word to Ms. Sambro, Ms. Sawyer, and Mrs. Conroy. One of the head of school finalists told me, I actually think every single person said it, but told me how lucky I was to have a team like you. I already knew it, but it was still really nice to hear. It has meant so much to me to work so closely with you. We also want to acknowledge some stars from the past, like Janet Bledgy, Jeannie Tibbetts, Sophie Verrier, Cindy Mitlow, Karen Tamayo, Emily Fisher, Esther Edwards, Michelle Haight, Lori Cullen, Liz McGrath, Mary Beth Twick, Jim Andrew-Konis, Jane Cantor, Jeannie O'Hara, and many others. Each of these people not only made our school a better place, but they helped me and supported me as I grew, and we worked together to make Pinecrest the best it could be. A lot of those people that I just named are here today, and I'm very grateful for them. I also want to recognize our enthusiastic and caring camp staff members from 16 summers, most notably Beth Hartzler for creating our summer camp, Pinecrest Pavilion in 2007. It's on the list of my head of school achievements, but that's only because I hired Beth to be our first camp director. I also want to give kudos to Serena Perricone, who is part of our camp today, just like she was in 2007 when we first started. Even our camp staff has felt the specialness of Pinecrest, and they often let us know that. And Serena and Beth are also both. Leading our school has been challenging and rewarding work. I wondered for many years when I would know it was time to say goodbye. I now really can say it is just you know when you know. When I told the board chair first, Steve, on September 2nd, I think it was 6 days before the September board meeting. And I remember thinking, okay, I will tell him on September 2nd. And if I decide I want to change my mind, I can, because until the whole board knows, it's not real. I laugh about that now because I never once thought about changing my mind. I feel as peaceful and positive about this today as I did then. I know it is the right time for me and it's the right time for the school. The lifting of the weight of the responsibility is the part that I look forward to the most as I think about my life after Pinecrest. The weight has been heavy and it has been constant. We can do hard things has proven true again and again over 18 years. We hung that first sign in Pinecrest in 2015. And one of my favorite things is when the students quote it back to us. Just the other day, a second grader was talking to me about Pinecrest. I was saying how we can do really fun and creative things here. And he practically interrupted me to say, and we can also do hard things. I said, yes, absolutely we can. Serving as Pinecrest head has not been an easy or slow job in any way. There is no coasting here. And something that I've always tried to hold on to are the small moments of grace that reminded me why I'm here and the impact of what we are doing together. One day in December, Ms. Sawyer and I were in the upper building and just happened upon a piano concert in the hallway. We stood there for a minute and I felt my eyes watering. It was the first of many moments this school year where I felt like I heard a little voice saying to me, pay attention. These are the moments that make Pinecrest, Pinecrest. This is it. I really tried to be present and stay open to those moments this school year and to be here now, to keep showing up wholeheartedly and experience it all. When I walk into the first grade classroom and someone says, Ms. Dermott, I lost a tooth last night, or at dismissal when a kindergartner calls my name and wants to tell me she scored a goal at soccer last weekend, this matters to me. And I don't take it for granted that someone wants me to know. Pinecrest is a place where this kind of news is regularly shared and everyone wants to hear it, most especially me. The waves, the hugs, the cards, the notes, the Valentine from the sixth grader that was signed your friend, the parent who wrote a note saying, thank you for creating this joyful and supportive environment. Your work has been very meaningful. The mom who told me that her Pinecrest graduate and current student talk often about how I should run for president. I don't think that's in the card. But it means a lot that they think so. Or the kindergarten, the students who have been at Pinecrest since they were 3, 2 weeks ago, talking to me with such ease and confidence about their science fair project. Or the kindergartner who said to me yesterday, that tent is so cool. I'm going to be here on Saturday for you. All of these moments are from this current school year. Of course, this year they do hit differently. That little voice was with me, telling me to take this moment, hear it, and be present for it now. There are a few other moments like this from the past that I want to highlight too. I didn't have that voice in my head then, but they still touched me very deeply and reminded me to keep going. The preschooler who took a half-used pad of pink Post-it notes from his mom's desk to bring to me because he knew I liked pink. The kindergartner who wrote me a card that said, I like your curly hair and when you talk to us about important things. The teacher who said Pinecrest is more than just a school, it's a family. The preschooler whose mom shared that he pretend played with me at home, and I was always the most special stuffed animal in that play. I think it was a munchie. The third grader wrote that her favorite thing about me was that I checked on all of the people at Pinecrest School. The preschooler who once told me he was so emotionable sometimes, I can relate. The teacher who ended every Zoom learning session in spring 2020 telling her students she loved them. Or the 2018 graduate who said she never thought friend and teacher could be one and the same, but Pinecrest taught her it was true. I could spend the entire length of this celebration with a list of these moments from this year and the previous 17. For me, this is it. It is everything. It's why I'm here now, and it's why I've been here for 18 years. And it is why I am so deeply grateful for the ways you have brought me into your lives and your families over all these years. My very first year at Pinecrest, I was teaching 3rd grade. This was in the 2004-05 school year, 19 years ago. At the spring parent conferences, it was after it was announced that I was becoming the next head of school, a family said to me, we're just so excited for you to take this and bring it to the whole school. When I look back on that moment now, I think about my favorite words from Mary Oliver, keep some room in your heart for the unimaginable. I had no idea then we would be here now. When I think about the way I can move around Pinecrest with ease, showing up authentically as me, no one wondering why is she here now or what is she doing when I go into their classrooms, how much I have thrived here, the comfortable rhythm of these moments I just described, flowing easily every single day, the grace that is part of our school culture, and how Pinecrest is a brave space. I know this is why it's hard to say goodbye. It is what I will miss the most. And this is what will take years to develop if I do go to another school someday. It is not lost on me how special it is. And I think This is also exactly why I am so proud of Pinecrest and all we have done over the past 18 years. It is the same gift we have given to our students. The way so many children and teachers have thrived here, how they have been seen for who they are, their identities valued, love freely given, confidence built regularly, and the risks they felt safe to take as they grew and changed, how they rose to the challenge, how they can do hard things, how they show up and be themselves, and we want them, and that's exactly what we want them to be. How social emotional learning is on display at Pinecrest in so many ways, and it was before that was a trendy term in education. Again, for me, this is everything, and it is the real work. It is the biggest of any of the achievements that you will ever hear about what I have done, and it is what will occupy the most space in my heart after Pinecrest. And parents, past and present, you gave us this opportunity and you supported us as we supported your children. Thank you will never be enough. And I want to give a special thank you to the people who over the years and even this year have let us know how much our work matters to you. Your words lift us up and they encourage us more than you could know. I wrote a college recommendation letter for one of our 2016 graduates last year. And afterwards, he sent me a thank you note. He wrote, "I can't even begin to express the importance of Pinecrest to forming the person I am today." A month before that impromptu piano concert in the hallway this school year, right before Thanksgiving break, I went into the kitchen in the lower building and I saw a pot holder out on the table. Someone needed it out and got it out of the drawer. Typical kitchen stuff. The little voice had not shown up yet in words. I was startled though when I saw that pot holder and I paused because I knew it had been made by a child and I knew which child, and I knew it was from summer camp about 13 years ago, and I knew it had been in the old building kitchen and someone packed it up and then it got unpacked and then it was moved into the lower building in 2017 when we got here. And I also knew that someday soon, no one would know or think anything if they walked in and they saw that pot holder. Like so many other things at Pinecrest that I hold the history for. And in that moment, and still today, I thought to myself, I hope as Pinecrest continues to move forward, someone will still get these things out and use them well and often. Another way to put it is from Taylor Swift when she sang, "Long live the magic we made." Thank you for 18 years of trust, collaboration, challenge, engagement, curiosity, joy, leading, learning, and belonging. This is community. This is a community I love. I am tired, I am proud, I am grateful, and I am forever cheering on Pinecrest and everyone who has ever called it home. Thank you.
So it's just so appropriate about now. Especially you calling it the lower building.
I did expect this.
He's got paint brushes for everybody. We're gonna do the whole wall. That's why everybody. Thank you. Pick up a brush and start. So from now on, forever. It'll be the Nicole McDermott building. Now we're cut again.
Somebody already take pictures of this?
That's right. This is a ceremonial cut. Small cake, dog cake. Then there are cupcakes inside.
Acknowledge not a bubble for doing.
And all the baked goods were from Out of Bubble Bakery, which is a bakery down in Springfield that's owned by a former parent and family. And just two quick announcements. One, if you are a current board member, former board member that served with Ms. McDermott, you want to gather up here by the step and repeat and take a group picture. And also, you have a red phone there. You can record a message to Nicole that we will collect and give to her afterwards. There's also a that's what you call it, the thing to sign there. It's a guest book kind of type of thing. And then also, Ms. McDermott with all her former students at some point to gather. So we'll make it an announcement. Oh, and staff as well. So no one can leave. Ready off the shuttle so we get all those photos. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.